Every 4 years, the world holds its breath for the biggest sporting event known to man, the FIFA World Cup. The FIFA World Cup isn't just football's biggest stage. It's where legacies are made, where icons become immortal, and where one magical moment can define an entire career. But here's something crazy. Some of the greatest footballers to ever touch a ball never played a single minute at the World Cup. Not one. No group stage appearance. No substitute cameo. Nothing. But meanwhile, we've seen teenagers scoring in World Cups, but these legends have never played a single minute of World Cup football. And we're not talking about average players here. We're talking Ballon d'Or winners, Premier League legends, all-time greats, and even one of the most feared strikers in world football right now. So today, we're looking at 7 legendary footballers who somehow never got to experience football's biggest stage. And trust me, some of these names are genuinely shocking. This list is filled with a lot of retired, legendary footballers, but there's only one active footballer on this list, one that many of you may know very well. Feel free to guess him in the comments. Let's start with Dimitar Berbatov. If football had an elegance competition, Dimitar Berbatov would be near the top. Everything about Berbatov looked effortless. His first touch, ball control, composure. The man played football like he was moving in slow motion while everyone else was rushing. At club level, Berbatov had an excellent career with Bayer Leverkusen, Tottenham, and later Manchester United, where he won multiple Premier League titles. And let's not forget, he even won the Premier League Golden Boot in 2010-11. But internationally, there was one big problem. He played for Bulgaria. Unfortunately for Berbatov, Bulgaria never qualified for a World Cup during his prime years. Which means one of the smoothest forwards football has ever seen never got a single World Cup minute. Next is Eric Cantona. Even if you never watched him, you've probably seen the iconic upturned collar. Cantona wasn't just a footballer. He was charisma, swagger, pure aura. He transformed Manchester United and helped lay the foundation for their dominance under Sir Alex Ferguson. So surely a player that influential played at a World Cup, right? No. France failed to qualify for the 1994 World Cup in one of the most shocking qualification collapses ever. Then things got worse. Cantona received a lengthy suspension after his infamous Kung Fu kick incident. By the time France hosted the 1998 World Cup, Cantona was out of the national team picture. And just like that, one of football's most iconic personalities never played on the biggest stage. Number 5, Ryan Giggs. This one hurts if you're a Manchester United fan. Ryan Giggs is one of the greatest wingers in football history because of his longevity, dribbling, and consistency. He won 13 Premier League titles. 13. That number still sounds ridiculous. For years, Giggs terrorized defenders every single weekend. But internationally, he represented Wales. And during his career, Wales simply couldn't qualify for a World Cup. No matter how brilliant Giggs was, one player alone couldn't drag the entire nation there. Ironically, Wales finally returned to the World Cup in 2022. But Giggs had long retired by then. Talk about bad timing. Number 4, George Best. Okay, now we're entering serious football royalty. George Best is often described as football's first global superstar. And honestly, that feels accurate. He had the skill of a magician. Dribbling defenders looked natural to him. He could score, create, entertain, all while making impossible things look easy. In 1968, he won the Ballon d'Or. That alone tells you how elite he was. Many consider him one of the most naturally gifted players ever. Yet, George Best never played at a World Cup. Why? He played for Northern Ireland during a period when qualifying was extremely difficult. So despite his unbelievable talent, the world never got to see George Best at football's biggest tournament. And that feels almost wrong. Remember the active player that I said made this list? You guessed it right. It's none other than Erling Haaland. Think about how crazy this is. We're talking about one of the deadliest strikers in modern football. A goal-scoring machine. A defender's nightmare. At club level, Haaland breaks records for fun. Bundesliga, Premier League, Champions League. Goals everywhere. Yet he has never played a World Cup match. But fortunately for him, That will change in this tournament as Norway are set to face Iraq on the 16th of June. If he features in that match, then consider him out of this list. He is Norway's all-time top scorer with 55 goals in just 50 appearances, but has never represented them on the world's biggest stage. That is just mind-blowing. Football can be crazy sometimes. Moving on to number 2. George Weah. Here's a truly historic name. George Weah isn't just a legend. He's unique. To this day, he remains the only African player to ever win the Ballon d'Or. Let that sink in. At his peak with AC Milan, he was unstoppable. Power, pace, technique, finishing. He had everything. So how did a player of that level never reach the World Cup? Because he played for Liberia. And despite his brilliance, Liberia never qualified. This is probably the most heartbreaking case on the list. Sometimes even greatness isn't enough. Number 1. Alfredo Di Stefano. This is arguably the most shocking omission in football history. We're talking about one of the greatest players ever. Di Stefano was the engine behind Real Madrid's early dominance. He helped them win 5 straight European Cups. 5. Some football historians genuinely place him in the same tier as Pelé, Maradona, Messi, and Cristiano Ronaldo. So how on earth did he never play at a World Cup? Pure bad luck. First, Argentina withdrew from the 1950 World Cup. Later he switched to Spain. Spain failed to qualify for 1958. Then when 1962 came around, he got injured. That was it. No World Cup. 0 minutes. Which might be the craziest football fact in this entire video. The World Cup is supposed to feature the best players on earth. But football isn't always fair. Sometimes legendary players are born into smaller nations. Sometimes injuries strike. Sometimes qualification just doesn't happen. And that's why lists like this feel so surreal. But now I want to hear from you. Which player on this list shocked you the most? And which legendary footballer did I miss? Drop it in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, like, subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one.